Alright, y'all, so let's do something a little more complicated like sine of x. Ooh. So the first step don't change. Oh, there's an x. Replace it with an x plus h minus the original function. So when dealing with calculus, you have to remember stuff from trig, geometry, and algebra. So I believe this is called the sum to difference formulas for trig. So the top function right here, this part right here, we can change that. Oops, don't get rid of my h. So the limit as h goes to 0. Well, sine of x plus h is the same thing as sine of x times cosine of h plus sine of h times cosine of x minus sine of x. Just bring that down all over h. And again, this part right here is called the sum and differences of trig functions. If you don't remember, go back and review. So now at the top, let's just rearrange. Let's put our terms that can factor together and our terms that cannot factor away from everything else. So limit as h goes to 0. Like we got a negative sine of x. We'll just bring that to the front. And we got a positive sine of x cosine of h. And over here, well, sine of h and cosine of x has nothing to do with anything else. So I'm going to just leave that separate all over h. So from the first one, let's go ahead and factor out a negative sign. Hold up, what's going on? Where's my drawing tool? There. So the limit as h goes to 0. Negative sine of x. Well, remember, we factored out. We're just dividing each term by what we factor out. So we get positive 1 minus cosine of h. I'm going to just leave this alone for the moment. Sine of h, cosine of x. So that was your trig. You got to remember. Now you got to remember your algebra. If you got two terms in the numerator over one term in the denominator, we can split them. So the limit as h goes to 0, negative sine of x minus cosine of h over h plus the limit as h goes to 0 of sine of h cosine of x over h. And now we back to college algebra. So in college algebra, we should have learned that the limit as h goes to 0 of 1 minus cosine of h over h is 0. So the first term is just negative sine of x times 0 plus. The next one tells us that the limit as h goes to 0 of sine of h over h is equal to 1. So again, if you don't remember those, you gotta go back and practice a little bit more. So this will actually be 1 times cosine of x. Well, 0 times anything is 0. 1 times itself is itself. Therefore, the derivative of sine is cosine of x. So that is, one of the more difficult problems. So if you don't get it right now, don't have a college, just know you got more to review. And we'll jump on some derivative rules in the next video.